I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Real trees. Understand real Christmas trees are cut long before you ever get to see them. Scots pine and all the pines have to be cut before the snow gets into the bush. Otherwise, what happens is they become discolored and you get Christmas trees with yellow tips on the needles. It looks rather unattractive. So at one time, the Christmas tree growers used to paint the trees blue-green. And when you're putting out hundreds and hundreds of Christmas trees, your gloves would be quite literally blue. Okay? In other words, the paint would come off. So, be aware. Now, a lot of the West Coast firs don't have that problem. A lot of the firs coming out of the colder areas, Michigan, etc., and a little farther north, then they won't have that issue. But it does when you're buying Scots pine. Notice I said Scots pine. It's not Scotch pine. Scotch is something you drink, preferably with very little ice. And the Scots pine is named after the men who discovered it. So, trust me, Scots pine. No, and you go and ask for a Scots pine, they won't know what you're talking about. But anyways, it's like Kleenex. So, you've got the tree, you're in the lot. This is what you need to do, okay? First of all, you're going to pick the different type of Christmas trees. There's Fraser firs and different types of firs, and then there's a balsam fir, and you've got Douglas fir, and then you've got, those are the old-fashioned Christmas trees, you know, with the boughs where they used to put the candles on, etc. Then you've got the Fraser firs, which are the heavily trimmed, growing, absolutely gorgeous, and quite expensive Christmas trees. Then you got the Scots pine, and of course, the spruce. Spruce being the worst of the Christmas trees to buy. Short term, short needled, sharp, and hard to get out of your carpet. And they don't last very long. They dry up very quickly, and so a lot of people don't get them. But they're inexpensive, and if you like them, you like them. Now, when you go into a nursery and you're buying your Christmas tree, you find the one that you look like you want. First of all, you look for height. Then you look for width. My father used to buy the biggest and the fattest tree, and getting it into the living room almost required repainting the hallways and part of the living room because it was so fat it would scratch everything, even when we bundled it all together. But you want big. So, a lot of people will do that. They'll bundle the branches together. Before it ever comes in, you want to make sure that you're going to make some fresh cuts on them. But we have to go and pick the right one. When you've picked out the different types of Christmas trees that you want, you've got it down to about 3. And by the way, the more people who are with you to pick out the Christmas tree, the longer it takes. One person, in, out, done, that's the one. 2 people, no, I really like this one, dear. 3 people, sure, little Johnny, you can have that one too. 4, gets worse and worse and worse. Do you think I've sold Christmas trees before? Yeah. Okay, so when you go to Christmas tree hunting, 1 person, okay? Go in, take a look. Pick the tree you like, look all the way around. You're looking for a tree that has been unbundled. The reason is that an unbundled tree will allow you to see if there's any gaps, holes, etc. If there is, okay, manage it. Is that going to be to the back of the wall? No problem, okay? Is it the height? Yeah. Is it the width? Will it fit? Yes. Now, once you've got it the height, think of this, that it's going to be about 6 inches shorter because you're going to have to make a fresh cut when you get it home. Okay? So you want one a little taller than you were planning. You then go and you look around and you're hoping that you can find a piece of concrete. You then take your Christmas tree that you've so loved and you grab it by the trunk in the middle and you take it to the concrete and you bang the butt on the concrete. Now, what's this going to do? It's going to knock out all the old needles. It's also going to tell you how fresh the tree is. Evergreens at that time of year always drop their inner needles anyways, but the more you drop off, it tells you how fresh the tree is. So bang it, bang it, bang it, bang it, empty out the needles, and then they're not at your place. 1. 2, only buy Christmas trees where they have Christmas tree bags so that you don't get the Christmas tree needles in the car, on the carpet, going in and out. So, Christmas tree bags, key thing, worth their weight in gold. Just think of the time and the needle that you're going to have to vacuum up and try and get out of the carpet or out of your feet when you step on one, and you know it. So, once you've got the tree home, you pull the Christmas tree bag off, you cut the bottom 3 to 6 inches off. Now, how much of that is depends on the butt. On Scots pine, because they are all usually growing from regenerated lower branches, then there's always a curve. So you want to get around the curve a bit. On all the other firs, etc., they're growing straight up. So you're just going to go straight across and make it about 3 inches up. Now, that means it's a fresh cut. You want to get it into the tree stand, pull the Christmas tree bag over it, the whole thing, Christmas tree stand and all, put it into the corner or the place in the home you're going to put it in. Pull the Christmas tree bag down and leave it there. It's going to capture the needles as you're moving the tree around as you're decorating. And then you're going to go and find out that when you pull the tree bag up over top, you get less needles on the way back out again. It also goes to the street with the Christmas tree bag in it, if that's what you're going to do with it. The next thing you do is you always go and tie it up first, okay? But the water in the Christmas tree, okay? You tie it first because you don't want the water, as the tree falls over, in before you've got it all tied up. So you don't put the water in the stand, you tie it up, then put the water in the stand. In the water can be slightly warm, and it'll have white sugar and a cap full of liquid bleach. And that gets filled up into the container, and it's never allowed to get below the fresh cut. Once you do that, then the cut will seal, the tree will get no more water, and of course dry up, and you'll have a big fire hazard and a lot of falling needles and a real big mess and an ugly Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Now, you've got it filled up in the container, tied up. Do you remember last week's podcast on how to decorate? Exactly the same way. Bells, glass balls, garland, lights, etc. Now, you won't be able to go up and down the branches with the lights, but you do go around and around, but inside. Okay? I want it inside the tree to light up the tree, not on the tips and twirled around the outside. You see all the cords. Secret is, don't see the cords, see the lights. So farther in, loop them a little bit, in further, use the picks, the garlands, etc., the icicles, the bells to cover up where you don't see the cords and out at the ends of the branches. Again, this is important that the bells go on simply because this is a tree you don't want to fall down. So once you've got that all done and it's all decorated, it's time to put the Christmas presents under the tree. When you go to take this tree out, go and use the Christmas tree bags out the door, right? Neat, clean, a lot better cleanup. What I also do and make sure of is that water level. I'm going to say it again and again, never below the fresh cut of the butt. It has to be above that. The deeper the water is, actually, the better. The bleach will keep the bacteria down. It's the buildup of the bacteria that blocks the uptake of the nutrients, water. That's what the sugar in the water is. And so you keep your Christmas tree fresh and pliable and less needle drop. So that's important that you do that, and you check that every day, because when the heat's on, whatever, if you have a heat vent right where your real Christmas tree is, recommended that you close it. Okay? And the other thing is, I don't put it in front of a cold air return, because that will affect the efficiency of many furnaces. So you've got all that done. You got it all decorated, and you're ready to go. Remember the rules, same as with an artificial tree. You do not leave a Christmas tree unattended with the lights on, ever. So, unplug. So remember what I said about the extension cord and the second extension cord, so it's out near the edge. You can unplug it easily. You don't have to crawl under the tree, get in behind, etc. Possibly knock the tree over. Got it? Do it. Now, when you did all that cutting, okay, you might have been able to find a Christmas tree that was really ugly at the bottom. Or you're going to pay for branches, swags, etc. Things to decorate containers and make your own door swags. What you can do here is this. If you're cutting off those branches can be used. The branches are then re-snipped, and usually these branches are not as nice as the ones you would like on your front door. These are the branches I use in the old containers that I had the annuals in, that I've done the cleanup, and I'm going to set them on my front porch to go and greet the people coming to visit me at Christmas time. So you take these branches and you push them, quite literally, into the soil in the pots. Not difficult. More the merrier, different varieties. Buy a few at the garden center of different kinds. Work those through just to give you interest. Pick yourself up a bundle of red osier dogwood, which you may or may not have growing in your garden. Silver dogwoods, gold dogwoods. They all have the red stems. You may even have a yellow twig dogwood or a coralberry dogwood bush, all in your tree, that all can be trimmed at this time of year. Take the most colorful. Of course, with the cold weather, they're all going to be more colorful, and they get stuck into there. Take an ordinary branch from whatever tree you've trimmed lately. If you had a broken branch, it can go in there. But before I do those, because they're kind of boring, what you do is you take spray can of glitter, okay, and you spray paint them gold, silver, purple, doesn't matter. And a lot of florists will have them. A lot of craft stores will have these. They're easy to do. Stick them in. Pine cones, a few of those. If you have some of the glass balls that you can hot glue gun the top, so the top and the ball itself don't separate, you can twist tie those onto the things. Now they're likely to break, but it's possible. Make sure that if you're using any decorations that you're going to put out there, such as the red velvet bows, etc., that they're all designed for outdoor use and getting wet. Otherwise, they just will look awful by Christmas time. Then you've got all these nice containers that you had with annuals, possibly even the same ones that you had on your porch during the summer, with these gorgeous Christmas decorations that can stay out there not just till Christmas, not just till New Year's, but through and later on into even March. By March, you want to whip them out and sink in forced pots of daffodils or tulips, so that you have that spring color before all of your neighbors. Now, if you're going to do wreaths and swags and garland, now, there's something that I always do with these. These are all fresh. I usually buy these in bundles and make my own swags or wreaths. But the garland I always buy done. Can't be bothered wiring pieces of the garland together. It takes too long, too much work. But I always buy 2 when I need 1. Reason is that if it's going indoors in the heat, very often by the time Christmas is finished and all the parties are going on at New Year's, they look awful. And they may need to be replaced, redecorated. I usually buy the garland done. So that's why people buy artificial garland. But trust me, the smell of real cedar garland in the house, give it a little squirts, okay? As long as the water is not going to adversely affect the railing, the plaster, the paint, etc. Little squirt a couple of times a day just to keep it a little moist, keep the temperature in your house down. Step back temperature in your house for at nighttime, always make it look better and last longer. When you do a door swag for the front door, I always buy a few of the unusual West Coast types of evergreens, the golden chamois cypress, the Fraser firs, etc. I even use some of the southern magnolia evergreen leaves that are brown on the back and green on the front, and they've been dried. Move those in through. I like to use brass bells. I like to use, of course, a bow that's good for outdoors because it's going to go at the top. I use a door hanging hook for wreaths and garlands, and I go and I hang it on there and have it hang down, always sort of in an elongated shape. I don't like to do round wreaths that much. To me, it's boring. I prefer more of a swag that goes down, across, and down, almost like an elongated heart. Those are the things I do with that. But to be honest, I have a problem. I have a tendency to make it so big that the outside door won't close right. Okay? So you got to hold yourself back and remember wider, flatter shape, color, and that's the way to do that one, so that the outdoor storm door still closes successfully and it doesn't get caught in the winter wind and blow open and do damage. So those are the things that you should do with those. And I keep extras of those out in the garage, out of light, out of wind, cold. The reason is if I need to replace one, I can. Same place that I keep the extra garland when we're talking about real, so that they will stay as fresh as possible. You can give them some light if it's going to be for an extended period of time, just to keep the colors up, but try and make it out of the wind, and you're going to have to sort of spritz them on occasion, but still works best in a cool, dark garage. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Podcast for this week.